First off, I want to say this, brother. 10 years, man, of friendship, 10 years of being brothers and being in the trenches. And it's an honor, bro. It's an honor to be on your podcast, see you growing, see you doing it, man. This is a cool moment. So I just want to say that before we begin, dude.
My brother, appreciate you. I feel like I'm a little far.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I like that.
I feel like I'm a little far away from the mic.
No, you're
There
good.
we go. That's better.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I like to get the the richness that originates down here. No, I got a good question, and we talk all the fucking time, right?
Yeah,
But I don't think I've ever asked you this.
well,
Actually, no. Would you say you have to be creative to be a bodybuilder?
man, that's a hitter question right out of the gate. Um, I think a big thing, man, is yes, you do. I think that I've gone from being more of like a very experimental person in the gym to being very fixated on the knowledge aspect, studying biomechanics, getting into these kind of rigid ways of thinking, and then coming back out of that again with more experience of kind of fluctuating in between both. And now I've been doing this for, you know, 10 years, man. It's something that I would honestly say requires the foundation and the principles, much like anything that you're going to do. And then you can kind of be creative once you understand the foundation. But I think that's a huge thing right now with bodybuilding in general is a lot of these young kids don't even have the foundation to understand biomechanics and movement and stuff like that. And then they just jump into being creative, which is cool. And I think you should. But like I said, I think, you know, I knew up to a certain point that like just doing shit that I saw on Pumping Iron or saw in a magazine. That's how old I am. Yes. I used to just look at Flex magazine.
Magazine?
What is that? But yeah,
What's a magazine?
once you experiment, you can kind of tell you're like, okay, like this, I feel this. I don't feel this. Right. And I think that, you know, that's the coolest thing about it, man. Bodybuilding in particular is an art form. I firmly believe that. And I think it develops your mind, your body. You have to have muscle mind connection to develop certain parts. And without that connection, you know, and you envisioning that muscle growing or envisioning where you want your physique to go really doesn't matter. So, yes, I do think it's very creative.
So, the foundation, the fundamentals. There's a lot of motherfuckers out there teaching the fundamentals, right? There's the community that is like just saying shit. And then there's the community that's like evidence based. And
Yeah.
how does anybody know how to differentiate between the two of them?
Man,
You know, especially if you're
hitters,
coming hot, bro. Especially if they don't know anything about lifting. If they're like pure beginners.
yeah, I think that that's a great question. You know, I think the internet is a treacherous place, dude, for fitness right now. And
Fucking
I think that it only complicates me and I'm a trainer, dude. This is what I do for a living, you know. This is something that, you know, I study and I love to do. I watch other people move. I've done that for years and you know, it confuses me. So first off, I would say find somebody that is actually in the trenches doing it. I think that that's a huge thing that you look up to and you're like, okay, this person has actually put in the time, the effort, they're living the life through social media that you think, you know, would equate to where you want to be at. And then I'd also say that you can't go wrong with a lot of evidence-based people. I think that like those guys, Jeff Nippert is a big one on Instagram right now. Shouts out to that dude. But just really like educational, really gets in there, really explains things really well. Mike Israetel, like you and me talk about all the time. Like there's
that's the guy right there. That's my guy
yeah, I
right
think
there.
that there's just so many people that are evidence based because it used to be like evidence based guys were kind of nerds that weren't really doing it. They were
Yeah.
just guys who'd be like, "Oh, you gotta do this with," and it's like no one really cared. But like Mike Israetel is living the lifestyle, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's one of those things where like and like his information breakdown with how knowledgeable he is like, dude, you can't get any better than that. I would honestly, if I were new, I'd watch all that guy's stuff and
Yeah.
do exactly what he says,
Yeah,
and then
Dr. Mike for sure.
figure out what you like. But like on the flip of that, you know, Big Mike Van Wyck, someone that we both personally watch a lot. is the opposite of that. And I think he's got really great advice as well. I think that, you know, the biggest thing I could say is find something that you think that it's going to work for you. Go and try it. Document, okay, did that work for you? Do it for more than a week. Do it for a couple months, you know what I mean? Track your progress and see if it works for you.
Yeah, bro, because it's like, you know, what you talked about right there at the beginning is like getting into these like strict, it's got to be like this, had me fucked up for a long time. And now I go in there with like way more of like an intuitive approach where it's like when I'm in there, I'm like, okay, am I feeling this shit? Am I feeling that muscle contract? Am I feeling the fucking stretch? Because I have a homie that just started lifting, and my one piece of advice for him was like, because he's getting a trainer, he's like, this trainer is going to tell you how to do shit in a certain way, and you kind of have to listen to your own body's feedback. You know what I mean?
100%.
And fucking and make decisions based on that.
Totally.
Because I don't know, bro. It's like now I'm not, because, you know, 6'6", so
big guy.
Some shit. There's some machines I can't even fucking use, and then other machines that I have to legit like modify exactly. Yeah. And so that's all based on just how I feel and how it, you know, I don't even flat bench anymore, bro, because I don't get a good enough stretch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think, you know, all those things are great points, Joey. I think that this journey should be a journey of self. I think that's the thing that like most people don't talk about at all in bodybuilding anymore. Like, this is completely up to you, where you want to go, what you want to do, how you want to do it. You know, the rules, like, there's no fucking rules, dude. And that's what drives me insane about fitness right now is like everybody's like trying to find this formula, and it's like protein, dude, the actual things that are going to make you grow are pretty simple. Like, in all actuality, like, you know, if you watch any of the new research on hypertrophy, it's like your rep ranges can be between 6 and like 15. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. You have like a huge window, right? Yeah, then we get into all the nuances of recovery and all that stuff, which we won't get into. But my biggest thing is like, what do you enjoy doing, man? Because the goal is to do this for the rest of your life. So if you enjoy high volume and you enjoy short rest times and you enjoy like hammering yourself when you go in the gym, like, who gives a fuck what's optimal, dude? Because if you doing this for 10 plus years, you're going to outwin the guy who does this for 5. So, you know, I think that's the biggest thing is like, dude, it's a personal journey of figuring out what you personally enjoy. And that's going to change over time too. You know, like, I personally don't enjoy having 2-hour workouts anymore. I don't have time. My lifestyle doesn't fit that. When I was 16, I'd love that. You know, go in there with Slipknot and just beat my nervous system to the ground. But it's just like,
Slipknot.
Those things
fucking
will change.
Put on Iowa, bro, and just fucking get after it, brother.
But yeah.
Okay, so now I know that I can't fucking have this dog in here when I fucking record this shit because she's gonna be fucking bothering me. Okay, Etta, you're not allowed in here when I record.
That is done. Come on. I kind of like it, dude. It just creates this.
So anyway,
I like it. I like that it creates this, like, this is your home, dude.
This is my home. This is the studio, aka the Scooty Wop. the Scooty Wop. The Lion's Den.
You should do audiobooks, dude.
I know, dude. I kind of my voice is like velvety chocolate, bro. Just on this microphone. Tune in every Wednesday. All right. Anyway, fucking sorry, I'm getting off track. Yes, it should be like based on like, you know, it's not like. I feel like it's so important to not get into the weeds and overcomplicate shit when it comes to just lifting in general. Because that gets people fucked up, bro. It's like, well, I was told I got to do it like this and I got to do it like that. And it's like, are you getting a pump in your fucking chest or not? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well,
and that was my big issue, was like, no.
well, now you have the science-based community saying that pump literally doesn't equate to anything, or that shouldn't be a sign of. And that's when I get into like, do you enjoy lifting to get a pump? Then keep doing it. Like, I just think that like we've gotten so advanced in a lot of different things because of AI and just our knowledge base on different things that it's just kind of like made it not fun. Do you ever have that where
Yeah.
it's like you
Fuck
start
yeah.
like getting into this super analytical mind frame where it's like, dude, just go to the fucking gym and slam around some weights. Like
Yeah.
it's something where it's like that should be like have fun. I forget that all the time in my life, dude. Is it's like I just start like becoming a robot and being like, this is the way it must go. Like the other night I went to the gym Saturday night by myself, dude. It was 9 o'clock. Not a single soul was in there. And like according to my journal, my training journal and my progressive overload, I went in there and I pulled up the 110s on dumbbells, threw them back to do incline dumbbell press, and I could just tell you immediately once I threw them back, I did not have the strength. And there's a lot of things that were going on where like I knew going to the gym that night, I was like, damn, like I should just rest. I've been chilling all day, but I feel lazy. So I had this internal battle going on in real time. And then I was like, bro, I'm kind of bummed that it's like Saturday and I'm just chilling here. So I'm going to go. Like, fuck it. But like as soon as I knew those 110s didn't go up, my immediate mindset was like, you need to go home. Like, why'd you even come here? Right. And I was like, fuck that, dude. I picked up the fucking 70s, did a great
bro.
set of 12 with a good stretch. And then I just did pump work the entire time, bro. And just got a good sweat.
Just cut the fucking, cut the load in half and just, fuck it. That's because at that point in time you were how does Dr. Mike put it? You're overreached.
Yeah. And I kind of knew I
mean?
was, but I didn't go there to like, there's like moments in your life, man, where it's like, yes, I want to progress every session and be the most optimal on a killer leg day today. But like that Saturday session was more so a mental health thing for me than it was to like get my logbook right. And that's what's dangerous and like really is a pitfall in this industry is like, if I were to look at that on paper, like part of me, if I'm like dead set on progressive overload and I'm living and dying by progressive overload, it would have been a waste of a session. And that's like, it's not okay. That's like going to fuck your mind up. I would have been more depressed that I went to the gym.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta listen.
Yeah.
You gotta listen to yourself. You gotta listen to your fucking body. You gotta listen to what your body's telling you, because it's like, all right, well, it's just numbers and fucking, it's numbers on a notebook,
Yeah.
and that's what I have to do. It's like, bro, like that's how motherfuckers get burnt out. That's how motherfuckers get injured. Listen to your fucking body, and you did. You know what I'm saying? You almost dropped half of that weight off of there, and repped it out. It's like,
Yeah.
that's where I would get fucked up. That's what it was like, fucking up my knees. It was fucking up, fucks up your joints and your lower back when you're like, just like put a bunch of weight on the bar. You see like a girl over there at the fucking squat rack, like doing like 3 plates and shit, and you're over here doing 1 plate, and you're like, oh fuck. But it's like, I don't know, man. I'm out of that. I'm out of that, dude. I'm fucking, I don't know. I'm 34 in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a fucking age thing or now my lifting age, because my lifting age is, fuck, dude, almost like 8 years now.
Yeah.
I'm creeping up on 8 years.
And you didn't like run your body to the ground, so
right. Luckily,
you're still fresh.
I'm still pretty fresh. Luckily, like when shit did start to hurt, like when the back started to go out a lot and the knees started to hurt and all that shit, like I was like, wait a minute. I think we need to fucking reevaluate, pull back and see what the fuck the deal is, and kind of like start from scratch almost, bro. Take all the weight off and do body weight shit. See how that feels, make the adjustments, you know what I mean? And then like sometimes it's like, all right, I can't do back squats, bro. It's like it's just the thing. I have to use the hack. And the hack squat, bro, I walk off that thing, I'm fucking cooked, bro. Yeah. I'm fucking cooked like fried chicken.
Joey, I've told you this, but like you doing a back squat with your biomechanics is just like, bro.
It's
your femur is like
it's ridiculous, bro.
dude. It's like for you to go ass to grass in a squat and be like an optimal like to like target your quads or specifically target like glutes or anything else. Like bro, like you have to get in some crazy positions and it's just not gonna happen. You're 6'6", dude. So that's something that I'm like, yeah, like. But trial and error, dude. You tried for a long time to do back squats, and you ended up blowing your back out. You called me frustrated, laying on the floor. But that's what I'm saying too. Is like, dude, that's part of the journey. It's like you won't always be right. You're gonna fail. Like, dude, I had a whole entire off season where I was like peak bodybuilding. I was super focused, and I was doing leg movements where like I just didn't feel my legs. Like I didn't get a pump in my quads. I didn't get a pump like my hamstrings. I was like, eh. And I'm like, dude, I came down for a show and looked like hammered dog poo, and I was like, damn. But
you were right. It turns out you felt it. You know what I'm saying? And you knew it the whole time, but you were like,
I was going off
doing the movements. I'm going off of the videos and the fucking
or that pump doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you feel it. It was like, I think that there's like
doesn't. That's weird.
Yeah. So figure out what works for you.
Motherfuckers just say shit, dog. You could go on the internet and just say shit. Look at me. I'm out here. I'm out here just saying shit, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like all you gotta do, bro, is do back squats, bro, and you're gonna be fucking. You're gonna be so fucking big, dog. Like you could just do any kind of show. You know what I'm saying? Physique, fucking classic. You're good. Back squats. That's all you. You know those motherfuckers would be saying that shit, bro. It's ridiculous.
Dude, I actually, it's so funny you brought this up. I saw a TikTok yesterday. This is crazy, bro. TikTok is wild, dude. I saw a kid who does fitness content that was saying how he's able to smoke Marlboro Reds is that he runs like 3 miles a day, and that like cancels out the ciggies.
It balances it out.
I was like, bro. He's like, I want to smoke darts. I don't care who judges me. I was like, damn.
Yeah,
dude. The funny part is that when you are that age, I could probably smoke darts and still get some crazy cardio in.
I'm sure it would really help, big time. I think fucking I don't know, man. Like, yeah, another white guy with a fucking podcast over here, but the podcast police is about to bust in his fucking door. But nah, bro, I look. All I want to do here, man, is fucking upper decky.
Got a zinny
upper decky. Wake that ass up. Yeah, I don't know, man. I want to. I bumped in. Okay, so I knew the DJ at this wedding through music. Mm-hmm. It was crazy, bro. It was fucking bumfuck Vale.
Yeah.
And then the videographer comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, what's up, bro? I've been following you on fucking Instagram. We met at a wedding 7 years ago." And I was like, "Bro, that was right when I started shooting." And he's like, "Oh yeah, you know." He's like, "Don't you have like a podcast or some shit?" And he's like, "I see the content that you be putting out." And he's like, "I like it because it's just like you're not like regurgitating the same bullshit and you're saying shit that like actually is actionable." And I was like, "Bro, all I want is to, well, I selfishly want to have conversations because fuck, you know me, bro. I like to talk.
Yeah.
But I like to like extract value from people when I talk to them.
Okay.
And then I figured, okay, if I'm doing that, if I'm fucking extracting value, then this should be able to help somebody else. And that was my goal with the talking head shit. When, you know, the shit that I was filming out in the front of my house is just like, I want to fucking just like give people value, bro. I just want to help. I want to help. It'd be cool to make the world just like fucking that much better when I leave it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's it.
Well,
we're the white guy with a podcast, so it's like, hey, let's
but dude,
let's
I think
help somebody out.
I think that kind of mindset, right, is just kind of like, I get it, right? And we've talked about this, like doing social media for a marketing company and having these conversations, and it's like it feels redundant, right? I know when I started my talking head videos, it like feels like, okay, like here's another guy talking about dumb shit with a microphone, right? And it's something where I guarantee you over the last year, if me and you had recorded some of those conversations we've had and some of the toughest moments in our life, dude, um, it would speak life to a lot of people. And I think that like when you think about it from that perspective is I know when I went through like my last kind of dark moment in my life, I've been documenting a lot of it. And it's more so for me to have, it's more so for me. I always think when I'm in those moments of like not wanting to keep pushing the ball forward, like what would I say to someone who was young me that was going through this, right? And I know for me, like when I was really, really going through it, one thing that helped me out was podcasts, bro. Constantly watching podcasts of people talking about the things and subjects that I was going through, whether it be relationships, whether it be the gym, whether it be work, how to be more structured, right? Like all the things that we watch, like, dude, that was like having conversations with close people that were experts in things that I didn't know about in a time of need. And like, that was priceless, dude.
Yeah.
Priceless.
Yeah,
So
it's really beneficial, really
yeah.
helpful, really important.
Well, think about when you were in Canyon City, right? Growing up, it's like how many people around you were having conversations about how to grow $1 million business, how to structure your finances, how to be the best husband in your marriage, how to, like those. Probably not a lot.
No,
Yeah. So it's like you
no.
can turn on YouTube, and next thing you know, you're sitting there in a room with people. It always feels like you're like with your arm around them, like,
Right, right.
hey.
Well, it's like it's kind of a double-edged sword. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It definitely is a double-edged sword. People can, these fucking charlatans can come on here and just say that like you're gonna die if you eat plants. And then there's the people that really actually fucking give you good information and good insights and make you feel like you're not fucking alone in this world. And I feel like if you can relate to somebody and you see that somebody else is going through the same struggle, or you see that somebody else has like a similar problem in their life, there's something about it, bro. There's something about it that just makes you feel a little bit better. It just a little bit fucking better. And I don't know, man. It's they come in at different times, like whether it's a podcast or music or film or a good conversation with a good friend or you're you just take some time to reflect or whatever the antidote is for that particular point in time. I think it's access to all of this shit is beneficial as a whole. You know what I mean? It's crazy how much knowledge I can just fucking in such a short period of time, and it's just at my fingertips. It's fucking ready to go, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that it's massively beneficial, and I think that some of the conversations we've had about life. I mean, dude, crazy.
Yeah, that shit has got me out of some rough head spaces.
For sure, man.
Really, really fucking helpful.
Yeah, I think that there's always going to be another person with a podcast and whatever, but I do think that you do have a talent of communication. I think that is one of your strong suits, and I don't think that it's in vain, right? Dude, I think honestly, I just had this conversation with a friend of mine about a bodybuilder that we both know that's like trying to do his thing. He's trying to go to nationals. He's really old, and he's just struggling, dude. And
like
and
really old in like bodybuilding terms, or like old.
No, he's like
actually old.
I think he's like middle 50s.
Oh yeah, so like in bodybuilding,
that's old, bro.
That's pretty old.
Yeah, I mean, let's keep it a buck. That's pretty old. You know what I mean? But I never want to squash somebody's dreams, but I do want to say like, there is something to be said for having friends that can be like, it might be time to hang it up. And if you were like, hey, I'm starting this podcast and I really feel like you didn't have anything to say, this is going to sound mean, I would probably tell you like, hey bro, let's just stick to videography, dude. Yeah, like, do we
you gonna be another white guy with a podcast, huh? All right,
I just contradicted everything I just said, bro.
Hope it works out.
Don't ask me to be on it.
I don't know. I don't expect shit with, I mean, I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't expect shit. I don't expect shit with this. Like,
Do it because you love it.
I like having these, I like having these conversations a lot. And, you could ask my wife or, I mean, bro, like everywhere I go, I have this, I don't know, man. I have this ability to kind of like break that little barrier and people feel comfortable to be themselves. And that's one of my favorite things is when I feel like I've like taken the pressure off them and I've diffused whatever that weirdness is about interactions. Man, I'm at Qdoba. I'm in the line of Qdoba, man. This dude's like, hey, I reconnected with the love of my life, and I'm moving out there, and it's like connection, bro. It's what we fucking need, man. It's like we need some fucking good, solid, real, genuine connections, not that bullshit connection shit where it's like somebody's trying to get something out of you. And it's like, I guess, in a way, if I'm bringing somebody on, I'm trying to get something out of them. But yeah, I'm trying to get your perspective. I'm trying to get your insights. You know what I'm saying? There's no guarantee that like you're going to post this shit if I give you clips. You know what I'm saying? But like there's no guarantee that whoever I bring on here is going to fucking want to even post it or share it or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, cool. If it pops up, it's the stoic mentality. Like if it pops off, great. Bonus.
Yeah.
If not, like I'm getting something out of it.
Totally.
And I hope the guest is getting something out of it. You know what I mean?
And I think that's something I've been trying to go back on in my life in general, man, is like do it because you love doing it, man. Like, and I think that's just such a good metric for anything that you're going to start or anything that you like, and I talked about this briefly, but with content, right? Is like figure out what you enjoy making and just make it to make it, and it's like, dude, I've never made a dime off bodybuilding, but I've spent a lot of time doing it.
Yeah.
A
lot of money, a lot of effort.
I've spent a lot. Yeah. And it's like, I just do it just because I love doing it. And in my life, I don't know who I'd be without it. So, with same thing with the podcast and with everything, like you said, it's just like when you do it because you love doing it, man, it's not work. It's just something you enjoy.
Well, all right. So let's do like a practical, like three tips, like real baseline kind of shit to get a physique. Say you're okay. We'll do two versions. You're starting out bigger and you want to cut, and then you're starting out smaller, like skinny, like I was, and you're trying to grow.
Okay, so let's start with the growing one. Biggest thing that most people aren't doing is getting enough calories in. It's plain and simple. And I just watched a Mike Izzotow video on this, but you always hear people say it's the constant thing, like, "Oh, I'm eating 4,000 calories and I can't grow." Or you're talking to some kid at King Supers who weighs $170 and he's like, "I'm eating 5,000 calories and I can't grow." And I highly doubt that's true. First off, second off, is that it's not enough. So you need to keep eating. So right.
If they really are consuming the 5K, then you need to consume 7K. If they really are, which is doubtful, but you know what I'm saying.
And I always say, like, if you're not somebody who wants to count calories and really get in the weeds of it, which in order to be an elite at anything, you're going to have to do at some point. But let's just say you're like, I don't want to count them, which is a thing. So I would just say, make sure you're getting your protein goals in, right?
Right.
Even that, I would go like 1 gram per pound of lean body mass. Just make it super easy on yourself. Don't get into like the 0.8 or the higher, like digestion. Don't just 1 gram per pound of lean body mass. So that if you think about it, that's not even your total weight. Right. But we won't even go there. Just go off your fucking weight, right?
Just go off your weight, right? So if you're 200 pounds, eat 200 pounds or 200 grams of protein.
Yep. And then like from there, right? Like I would fill the rest with carbs and fats. and my advice would be, definitely go on the side of carbs. Yeah. And just start eating more of those and try to make it
very calorically dense. Right.
Yeah. And so I would also go with like the age, right? So let's just say the standard person asking this question is like a young person, right? I think I wasted so much time in the beginning worried about being fat. I was like, I don't want to get fat. And it's like, just eat till you don't want to eat. Make it really easy on yourself. Eat more in a day than you think is possible. And then if you start putting on body fat, then we'll have that conversation, right? But I just think most people just aren't getting the calories in, because as soon as I'm even on a contest prep to come down in body weight and get lean out, I'm like shocked at the amount of food is on a piece of paper. I'm like, damn. Right.
Yeah.
And so if I went all off season without tracking anything and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm eating all this food. And then I see like like my like diet meal plan, I'm like, oh my God. Like that's a lot of food, right? So it's like when you
Right.
see 6 meals structured on paper, it's a lot. So that would be my first advice for sure to a young person. Second would be find in the gym lifts that work for you and progress those over time in reps, progress them in weight, and progress them in execution. I think as far as progressive overload, those three are like the most important.
Right.
And
And the progression can be very incremental, correct?
yeah, I
Little
mean,
biscuits. You know what I'm saying? Like say you got 25, you put the biscuits on, and then
and
you
I
put the
think
tens on.
everybody immediately wants to go to weight, and I think that that's kind of like an iffy thing. That should be like, to me, honestly, it's like the last thing that you should really be progressing,
So
because
start with reps and sets
an execution.
and execution. Yeah.
And everyone feels stupid doing this. I know I did for a long time, but I'm actually on my Instagram at Ian Zeikus, in case everyone's wondering. But doing
Plug.
training journal, which is documenting like my like top sets, my working sets of lifts, and I watch them. And sometimes I'm like, that looks like shit. And I think what's crazy is you filming yourself doing lifts will show you everything you need about execution. And I'm kind of mad at myself for not doing it sooner, because it's just having another pair of eyes on you and being like, wow, that's what I look like doing that. Like, that's not moving. My hips out of alignment. My knees are caving. You know what I mean? It's like you can really like get another perspective. So I would say execution and reps, and make sure that like you're executing with proper tension on the muscle in the proper rep ranges for sure.
And then worry about adding weight
Last.
after you've checked that shit off.
Yeah, because I can't tell you how many times when I jump way too fast, the other two just go right out the freaking window.
Fuck yeah, absolutely. Because
Yeah.
your first instinct's like, all right, let's fucking put a plate on there.
Always.
Let's put a plate on there.
Let's be honest. I know for me, I'm a meathead, so a plate to me is the only thing that's worth a shit. So
I
I'm
know,
like,
right? It's like, oh, what am I gonna? I'm gonna put a little biscuit on here? Nah, hell no. Ain't nobody gonna see me putting these biscuits on here.
totally. The hot girl at the squat rack's gonna see me.
2.5s.
Yeah,
2.5.
It's not gonna happen. So, my last piece of advice would be to sleep. I think that rest is like something that is completely overlooked, and it is a fine line, but it's something that like working out 6 days a week is not optimal, to be honest.
Right. No, it's
If
not.
you're doing it properly, right? I think in the beginning, right, when you're not using heavy loads and you're just trying to get things moving, it might be. But once you progress more, you become more advanced, it's pretty difficult to keep that kind of frequency up. So getting proper rest, proper water intake, taking some time off, man, relaxing. Well, you're not going to grow when you're in that sympathetic nervous system and everything's heightened. It's in the parasympathetic when you're relaxed, and that you're going to feel that you're actually like you're sending those signals to your body to grow. So I think like
And
the faster
actually relaxed, right? Not arguing with
Yeah.
somebody on Instagram. Not fucking, you know.
Totally,
what I'm saying?
man. And I think
relax.
arguing with your girlfriend, you know what I mean? Arguing with your wife, having a stressful job, like all those things are taking a toll on you mentally. I don't think that people understand that. It's like, hey, when you take 500 milligrams of caffeine in your pre-workout and then you go lift and then you come home and you just like you're hyped from traffic, then you go listen to Knocked Loose, like you're not in rest mode.
Yeah.
So get comfortable with like learning how to like leave the gym as quickly as possible, get to a place where you're calm, you're collected, and you feel like you're resting.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. And then cutting.
Cutting. If you're tracking your calories, it's going to be way easier. So my biggest advice would be to track them in general. That way you know where you're at to even come down from. So once you have that metric of, okay, this is my caloric intake, this is where I'm at, right? Which you can also look up online. Go on ChatGPT and type in your stats. It'll actually give you your baseline.
Or MyFitnessPal or whatever. And,
Yep.
and it's typically an eye-opening process, right? Like, you're like, oh, fuck, I'm way overeating. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And you're like, fuck, okay. Then it kind of starts to push it in perspective, and then you start thinking about your portion sizes and shit like that.
So this is probably a pretty moderate approach, but I would say like drop 200 calories from that, stick to that for a week. Make sure your body weight's coming down within that week. Look at the averages, don't look at it every day. It's just going to shoot yourself in the foot. But, the average should be about a pound a week, 2 pounds a week, right around there. And it's like, make sure your strength is staying at the same place, tracking your workouts. That way you actually know that your strength is staying at the same place. And it's like, or progressing. But if it's regressing a lot, you're dropping calories too quick. So, just having that source to look at analytically and be like, okay, am I dropping too fast? And then I would be pulling carbs out. So I'm a big fan of carb cycling. So starting to pull those carbs out slowly and then working your way down. Protein's always going to stay the same. That's never going to switch up. And then fats I would pull out last, but that's just me. So really working on dropping those carbs, 200 calories per week, track your stuff. And that's a great place to start. Second piece of advice, it's going to go off the back of the bulking, you know what I mean, is that your lifts, making sure you have lifts that are stimulating, that that you're feeling. You're not switching it up just because you're bored in the gym. I think that's the biggest thing I hear from clients daily in the gym is like, well, I want to do different stuff. And it's hard being a trainer too, because a lot of your clients are looking for new workouts, because they're like, oh, I'm tired of doing this. I want to do something else. And it's really
like
one of those
hack, like the new hack workout. It's like, oh, well, this is the workout that's really going to grow. You know what I'm saying? They hear about that shit and they're like, well, what about this?
Kim Kardashian's doing this.
Kim Kardashian's doing the fucking, the one-legged sissy squat, and you need to do it too.
Yeah, totally. So, sticking to the plan, and I always advise people, this would actually be a huge thing, is in the beginning, hire somebody. I actually reflected on this the other day. I've got to work with John Jewett in the beginning. He's a big bodybuilding coach now. Neil Yoda Hill, which is like one of the biggest guys that does Olympians. I've worked with Jordan Peters. Like I sought out through Instagram the top coaches when I was first starting, and a lot of people around me were like, yeah, you're not that level, but I really got to absorb a lot of their information, which looking at it now is insane, dude. Like I've worked with some of the top coaches in the industry and I'm nowhere near a top athlete by any stretch, but just having conversations with those coaches who have elite athletes changed the game for me coming up.
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, well, what do you say to people that are like, well, what if I just like work out more? Can I eat whatever the fuck I want?
No, you can't. No.
Is it because one donut? Is it because you eat one fucking donut and you completely erased that 5-mile walk?
Yeah, so this is where it gets tricky. I mean, if you've ever looked at, how much cardio it takes to burn off a donut, it'll make you really sad.
Yeah.
To burn 500 calories, I'm pretty sure it's about 30 minutes of cardio. I'd have to actually look at that, but
intense fucking cardio.
So if you ate four donuts, there goes your whole day. Hope you got a long time to burn
that. Yeah.
So,
hope you carved out a whole day for cardio.
Yeah. So I think, being mindful of that, but at the end of the day, it does come down to your caloric value. So if you are below that intake, you're going to lose weight. But this is where macronutrients come into play and are super important is, protein being a staple is going to help you with satiation. It's going to help you not be as hungry. It's going to help you be, it's a thermogenic, if that's the right term. I just pull that out of my butt, but it's something that's going to help you burn calories and hold on to muscle tissue. So it's stuff like that. Like you won't look like a melted candle when you come down from that weight. You know what I mean?
That's important. That's important. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I have a lot of clients right now using Ozempic, and I shouldn't say a lot. I have one. You know who you are. Um, and she, the amount of muscle tissue she's lost is insane.
Right, because
So,
it doesn't, it gets rid of your appetite, right? And
100%.
so you're not getting protein synthesis as well because you're not consuming any
not
food.
eating.
You're not consuming any fuel.
Yeah.
So you're losing lean mass.
Let's just say this. I'm not a drug expert, so I don't know. I won't even get into the specifics. All I know is she's just not eating and she looks like shit.
And you're losing muscle.
100%. She's completely lost her ass. So for any woman out there who's like, I want to keep my butt, like, that thing just took a blowtorch to that thing. So
You get the Ozempic butt.
yeah, and I think you look ghostly. You look lifeless. I think that's a huge thing. Is I think that diets have made us think that you're supposed to feel miserable and you're not supposed to feel good and all these things. Like if you're doing a contest prep for a show, of course you're not going to feel good. You're trying to get into like elite body mass numbers that like body fat numbers that most people don't ever get to. But if you're trying to just lean out and look good for going on vacation, like you shouldn't be feeling like absolute poo.
Right.
Yeah.
It's really what I found is it's really like it's like a portion thing. It's like portions are fucking massive. Like everywhere you go to eat in America,
Crazy, man.
the portions are fucking massive. And,
Yeah,
and
I
you
think
don't really know like, okay, what is
it's in
the
it.
caloric density of this fucking food? And then you end up eating fucking a 1,600 calorie meal,
Easy.
and you're shot for one meal for dinner. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's
So,
portions, bro. Portions are out of control.
and that's a huge thing too. I've had a lot of clients that don't want to count calories and don't want to go down that road. So we go, into portion sizing, and protein should be the size of your fist, and my fist is a lot bigger. But those kind of things, and those are great metrics as well. But I just try and get people onto a mindset pretty early on that you should be tracking it. And I think that as a 33-year-old guy now, it's like I'm learning to track my bills. I'm learning to track things that I don't like to track. It's painful. But I was like, hey, I'm tired of opening my bank account and seeing like all this money. Where is it going? So
Yeah, it's like budgeting. It's like food budgeting.
1,000%. That's exactly what it is.
Uh,
And if you have some calories left over at the end of the day and you want to eat a donut and not go over, don't I'm not a nutritionist, so don't quote me on that. Don't clip that one, Joey. But you know what I mean? I think it's something that it just knowing gives you a lot more freedom
right.
to navigate. So
Fuck yeah, or else you fucking taking a shot in the dark.
we all know where that goes.
Yeah, it's tough. I think just based on what I've seen work is set your deficit lower than what you like. Say your deficit is like 200 calories under your maintenance. Set that shit like 500 calories under your maintenance. So that way you're like aiming for a lower number, but you're more likely hitting that higher number, that 200 deficit, that 300 calorie deficit, right?
But see, that's the sticky part about that, right? Is like the whole guesstimation thing. Like at some point, you're going to run out of room to guesstimate, and then you're not going to make progress. You're going to be frustrated. You're going to walk away from the diet. You're going to be like, this isn't working. You're going to fire your fucking trainer. It's just something where it's like, let's pretty early on get used to the habit of just tracking, and it's crazy because I went grocery shopping today. It's like I buy the same shit every week, dude. I make the same food, and that's what people don't want to hear. Is like, in order to really be successful at doing this, like simplicity is key, man. I have the same rotation of 4 meals. I have an air fryer. I got beef I make on the stove. I got protein shakes with fruit, but the variation isn't like this huge conglomerate of different meals. It's just the same 4 things. So
yeah, keeping it simple is fucking important, especially if you're like familiar with if you're familiar with how many calories are in those meals. then you're just like, okay, I know I'm eating a 600 calorie meal. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. So, and I talk about this a lot too for my clients that are always on the go or always have work, long hours and seem to be terrible at packing their meals. There are variations at a gas station that I give my clients that, are easy to get and won't leave you high and dry. So, if you can get a core power at the gas station, 42 grams of protein, and you get some fats or some carbs like from like pretzels or something like that, you can kind of play with that, and that's better than you going to McDonald's. So,
Right. Yeah,
and it's
cashews or beef jerky or something that's like high
yeah,
protein.
yeah, and I think that tends to work well for people. I know when my life's chaotic, those protein shakes are lifesavers. So,
Fuck yeah. Same.
yeah, yeah. So
That's how I put that shit on. That's how I put weight on. It's shakes, bro. That's the game changer for me.
liquid food. Yeah,
Liquid food, man. Because it's like I don't know. I could fuck up some food, but
you
it's the
can. I've
it's
seen this.
you've seen this, bro. I could really fuck up some food, but it's like it's cooking it or buying it. If I'm really out here fucking up some food, bro, I'm dropping 30. I'm dropping $30
Yeah,
minimum. I mean, some places, it's like between 20 and $30 is what I'm gonna be fucking dropping. Or if I'm cooking a big fat meal, I'm looking at least an hour of my time. So sometimes you just gotta fucking drink a shake, bro. Just
yeah,
fucking drink a shake. That's like the really high quality protein, bro. Like,
and dude, science has come so far with those things where like you can find grass fed beef isolate. You don't have to drink whey if it upsets your stomach. You can get vegan.
they
It's
got
like
the plant protein. Yeah,
yeah, we live in a really cool day and age of just supplements, dude, where you can get some really high quality stuff for fairly cheap. But yeah,
fuck yeah.
definitely. Yeah, man.
Well, let's close it out with the one fucking thing that you would have told yourself the very first time you picked up a weight.
Yeah. I have like 20 answers that are just so generic that I want to just spew. So let me think of something that's a little bit more personable. I think it'll take you places, man. I think that's like something that like I never even knew is it's like when I first started was struggling with just a lot of stuff growing up, being a teenager, anger, like my life, my home life, shit like that. I think it's relationship issues, like all the stuff you deal with when you're just a hormonal teenager, and just looking at how far lifting weights has like progressed me as a man and as a person. And it's something that's like it's starts with the physical, and you want to look good, you want to get a six pack and all those things. But over the years, man, like a lot of my friends I started with don't even lift anymore, and it's insane to just see that through that commitment and through that process, it completely has changed me as a person. So
Fuck
you
yeah,
know,
man. Absolutely, me too. And you've helped me a lot
mm,
in this fucking whole weightlifting journey I've been on, man.
yeah, yeah,
Through the injuries and through the not being able to figure it out and why am I not
troubleshooting.
growing and all that kind of shit. It's really dope to just fucking yo, Ian.
This is happening.
What's the deal?
Yeah,
You know?
but
So
and I think what's cool with that too is it's like when you're pursuing something and you're passionate about something, and your cup is full, how you can affect other people's lives, man. It's something that me and my good friend talked about this morning. Is it's like through that commitment, through that process, you inspire people that you don't even know. Like the guy at the wedding who watches your content, you had no idea that some guy you're going to see at some wedding is paying attention to what you're doing. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
like
for real.
digesting what you're doing or inspired by what you're doing. And that might have inspired him to, go harder in what he's doing or start making content. And I just think that, it's something that when you're coming from a place where your cup's full, man, you can really affect others in a positive way.
Fuck yeah. That's a beautiful way to close this shit out, bro. That's fucking that gang.
Saw, dude. Saw. Dude, we ran it for 50, man. That's a good one.
Yeah, man. Thanks for fucking, doing the inaugural. You know what I'm
Love it, man.
saying? The the
Honored.
the the, the very first.
I'm sorry I had to have this mustache when we did it, but
I told myself, Ian, I'm like, I'm not gonna make one Freddie Mercury joke. I'm not gonna make one cop joke. I'm just gonna let it fly.
Hey, let it fly.
That's the extent of it. You know what I'm saying? You're my boy. I'm not going. You know what I mean?
Hey, you gotta try everything once, dude, and then you're just like, not for me. You know what I mean? So, you know what? I think I'm gonna stick with the beard. But
Me too.
but yeah, dude. So appreciate you, man. I'm honored to be a part of this first one, and you're gonna go places, man. Let's go.
My brother. Appreciate you.
Of course.
All right, man.
So when you end this, do we like go back to a room or what's up?
I don't know.
See what's up. See when
I'm
we're
about to find out. Maybe. Stop.